All right, good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, September 21st, 9 a.m. I will call this meeting of the Codington County Board of Commissioners to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Van Duzen, would you lead us today?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Call for public comment. We will still allow individuals to call about items that are not on the agenda. Our two phone numbers are 882-6248 and 882-6297. Also, if you would silence your phones, it would be much appreciated. If you need to take a call, if you could step out, and we are streaming live on YouTube. Item number 3, conflict of interest items. Are there any for fellow commissioners?
None? No.
All right. Also, I should mention those public comments will be addressed during the open part of our meeting. Action to approve the September 21st, 2021 agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Action to approve the September 7th, 2021 minutes of the Codington County Board of Commissioners. Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Item number 6, action to approve the September 7th, 2021 minutes of the combined city-county meeting.
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Any additions or corrections to those? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. During the Tuesdays in September, we do have our public hearings on our 2022 provisional budget, so I'll open that up to the public at this time. If there are any individuals here that would like to speak on that issue, if you would come forward. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. We will be adopting that on September 28th, so that is next Tuesday. So I don't know if there's anything that the commissioners want to talk about in relation to our budget.
Madam Chair, just I was talking to the auditor about a couple of the nonprofits so it might change a touch from what people are seeing in the paper. So that's the one thing to note.
Yeah, we had 2 nonprofits that just recently submitted their budget request, one for $6,000, one for $8,000. We'll bring that up. We'll address that next Tuesday when we do the final adoption. They are not requesting more than they have in previous years. They just did not get them in before I had to publish the provisional budget.
I do appreciate this breakdown. It really helps.
Mhm.
That's not particularly what I wanted to see, but appreciate the numbers anyway. And I hope the other board members here take note of this too. I don't know, I like to see a little bit more black.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I have a slide I can show that might be interesting to people about the budget that I used at a Rotary talk that might just give people an idea what's what. That this shows the budget, this year's budget in comparison to going back to 2014. The interesting thing I think to point out is that because of the rules that we have for budgeting, the yellow boxes show what we actually spent those years. So we have to, because of that 95% rule, when we estimate revenue, we have to apply some of the surplus or the reserves. But typically that forces us to be kind of frugal. And so what happens is we end up spending, we usually spare about that same amount as we end up spending it. So that's just to let people see what's going on. So anyway. Good chart.
Budget's just, excuse me, budget's just a plan. So how it ends up is always different than what is on paper. So, which is a good thing in those years. All right, we will move on then to monthly reports. We'll start with our facility manager. Steve would come up, please.
Steve.
Good morning, Steve.
gonna hand some things out before I start here. One way, I think there's a couple more left here. One more. All right, we'll start off with the government buildings. As you can see, they're finally paving the parking lot today. That was been quite a joyous trip here lately. I haven't received too many complaints. I don't know if anybody else has, but I guess construction, that's what happens. You get delayed and stalled out. Also, if you notice down in ground level that we did to get the TV installed and functioning for the clerk of courts. And I think that's been people are starting to get adapted to that TV down there. As for detention center, they are now in the detention center. They are redoing a shower down there. It had tile on it. And one thing about tile, if it starts breaking away, they can use it as functioning devices for causing damage. So they are taking and redoing the shower down there, and it'll be in the women's corridor. And then the sewer project is scheduled to start next week, Monday, and that is estimated to be about a 3-week time frame. He allows enough time, he said, to be able to do the project in case he runs into some snags. So we're getting that lined up for them. They're gonna have to use some porta potties for a little bit inconvenience times out there and stuff. So hopefully that goes very smoothly and well. Ag building, functions going on. There's been a few auctions this past month. And then of course, keep in note, we're having a surplus auction on Saturday. That is starting to get things lined up out there for that and stuff. And then I have something on the agenda we'll address later. Park is coming to a close next week, Thursday. It's been a pretty tremendous year. As you can kind of see on the little notes here and so that handout that I had.
I don't think I got the right hand out there.
Oh.
I ended up with one sheet.
Total.
That's what we all had.
Just one sheet.
That's all we had.
That's all it is. Yep, one sheet. And what it is it tells how much reservation system of the reservations that we had this year, which accumulated to 202,665.37. I kind of figured out why is the odd cents, but it was just due some fractures that occurred. And then POS is point of sale, so it's wood and those kind of things that occur, and the LP gas and stuff that's out there. And then I don't have it on your sheet. There is 2,104 reservations made out there this year. And I have to stand corrected. When I did print this sheet out, so it was about 5 o'clock, and I did receive an email again last night. There was another reservation made for this coming weekend too, so. And then chip sealing is scheduled to start this week. They had to delay it a week. I did get a phone call last week. He wanted me to send a map out again to him to make sure so he has enough footage and so that for the cover and so that. I haven't heard, they haven't contacted me for sure what day they're coming in this week, but they said this week sometime, so. The weed department. In the weed department, state roads along the shoulders have already been ran. We are running right now the Kubota out in the remaining part of the ditch where the trucks can't reach. And so that county roads are nearly complete. I think there's about 4 more county roads to hit, and then they have been done. And about 25 to 30% of the county roads have been covered already. West Nile.
Do you mean township roads?
Yeah, township roads. West Nile program, traps have been we've taken the traps away from the towns. The numbers have gone way down since the weathers have cooled off at night. There was a little bit warm weather here a week ago, had a little more resurgent. A few people were saying it were bugging them a little bit. So that, but it's going to be only a temporary minor thing for now with this cool weather again. It pretty well will probably go and winterize and stuff like that. So, and then the fogger has been winterized. Also, I'll have to give a little bit last report of last week from the West Nile from the state. So in South Dakota, as of September 15th, there was 36 human cases reported. And of course, from several counties, and 1 death. And positive blood donors, 3 of them.
That's statewide.
That's statewide. In the US, there was 210 cases and 9 deaths. And of course, a lot of times, you know, COVID they test for COVID and there's a possibility. I am assuming, I'm just going to make a judgment. I think there's probably more cases, but COVID kind of plays a huge role into today's society. So. I'll have to bring across this last week and so we had the weed commission meeting and the weed fall tour. Brenda had attended and so that. On the tour, we had gone to the SDSU weed shed, and there Paul gave all the equipment that they use when they do the test plots, the different rigs that they operate and stuff. And one of the other things is the staff end up turning around and giving where they mix the chemical in the chemical supply room and so that, and all the little mixtures that they have to do. From there, we had gone to the SDSU research farm at Vaga, and Paul had given the tour through for the corn and the beans, their plots and so that and stuff. Brenda had made a comment. She was a little bit tired from her long week of episodes all week. Plus, you know, that doesn't really particularly influence Brenda looking at weeds in the crops.
I learned things I did not know before.
From there, we went to the Prairie Aquatech facility at the soybean plant. That was very interesting. It was a little bit sometimes hard to hear the gentleman because it was kind of noisy in there, but it was very interesting to learn. What they do is they take the soybeans and there's a process they did so they can make it more digestible, and they're feeding it to fish. And they're finding out that the fish gain a lot faster and better at the fish farms. It is distributed around worldwide. I can't remember the percentage. It's a huge percentage that goes across seas, like 60-some%.
More across than
Right, then that's done in the US. Currently, right now, they also turn around and have this mixture go into for feeder pigs, and it's used in a time frame about 1 to 2 weeks of age, I
when
believe.
they're weaning. I
Yep.
think when they wean them off. Yep.
And then plus they are in the process of making it food grade and stuff. We were probably about one of the last tours that will be able to go into facilities because of food grade. They have to have, everything has to be quite sanitized. And the reason for it is because they're looking into the pet food industry, and being the pet food industry, children can possibly eat pet food. So that's why they have to be food grade quality. So it was interesting. I was kind of amazed.
Yeah, when we first went up, so when they cooked that, I thought somebody was grilling like dinner, because they had a grill sitting there that has that smell.
It had the smell like, yeah, there's food getting prepared.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
somebody's grilling. But
So,
it's actually the plant.
and then from there, we went to lunch, and then we went down to Walt Schaefer Farm down by Windford. There's a test tot going down there on
Sage.
wormwood sage Plus Walt Schaefer raises Clydesdale horses. He was actually, how did it put? He ran the McCoss and Boys Ranch for many years. So,
And all the horses there were his, so he
Yep.
wanted control of that. So when he left, then they went with him. I believe.
yep. And so
Yeah.
I can't remember, he had like 20 some brood mares and stuff like that. But he didn't have, one of the things that a lot of people were disappointed, he didn't have none of them on the farm itself. They were all in pasture. And one thing that he does not feed them hay over the winter. They are scavengers. They have to scavenge for their food. And he keeps everything distributed so that they don't overgraze and moves them around and so that. So it was quite interesting. He is 82, 83 years of age.
And they don't get housed in barns. They are roughing it out in the prairie. Yeah, the
Yep.
whole time, winter and summer. Yeah.
And then from there, we went to the pollinator site at the Ward exit. South Dakota Department of Transportation and the Game Fish a few years ago, set by Governor Dugard, wanted to have pollinator plots at these rest areas. And so we had gone to the one that was at the Ward exit and so that, and the gentleman there that is a manager that manages all these areas and so that for control of different weeds and so that, and how the plots are. And then of course, after that, we went back to Brookings, and then we went to the new Raven Precision Ag Center, and we had the best treat of all. We had SDSU ice cream and so that, and then from there we toured the new facility and so that. So
Part of that pollinator project is the monarch butterflies to
Right.
try to help
and
enhance that.
one thing is they made a comment about the monarch butterflies. Monarch butterflies travel about 50 miles. And I don't know if it was coincidental or whatever, but each one of the rest areas is approximately 50 miles apart
Mhm.
along the I-29 corridor. I don't know if it just uniquely was set up that way. So,
There's one over by the Hidewood as well.
Yeah.
So, and then up north here.
yep, there's one at the Hidewood and then one at North. I do know that they talk about, I think they're talking about maybe closing down the actually rest area itself
Mm.
at the South Dakota border, so.
Yeah.
Have any other questions to ask me or anything?
I don't know if while we have Steve here, if we should jump down to 14 and just take care of that while you're here. That is okay with Rick. He has to get going or, okay. All right, so item number 14 then is action to accept a quote for signage at the Extension Center complex. So
The
if you-
signs that are out right now alongside on the west side of the building and the expo and the one in the front, the one on the expo side it's plywood. It's starting to decay, flake apart. It's looking in rough shape. So we got an estimate and so that for having it done with actually a U of E vinyl or I should say a poly type panel. And of course, down on the bottom, you should see that there's two of them at 5 feet by 20. So it's going to cover the same area that's existing right now. So yeah, and then there's two signs that will be placed underneath or either underneath or I believe probably underneath the Codington extension. It'd be door H and I, so people can look and when they're coming alongside to see which door you need to enter to. So that's what I have proposed.
Make it a lot easier.
Make a motion to approve that.
Okay, motion by Gable, second by Waterman. Any other discussion?
Is this in the?
Yes.
Budgeted items?
Yep,
That'll be done this fall, yes.
that'll be done this fall. Yes,
You should last then a lot
should
longer. than
last a
we
lot
have.
longer.
All right.
I think ULV protection is something, I can't remember what it had. He said it was like 5 or 10 years or something like that.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. All right, I think that takes care of your business for the day, right?
Yep.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
We'll move on then to the highway superintendent with Rick. Morning, Rick.
Good morning.
Well, it's been kind of a quiet month, other than too much rain. I didn't think I'd say that this year, but I've had over 10 inches in the last 5-6 weeks, so we need to slow that down a little bit.
In relation to road work.
Absolutely. Well, our fall mowing started Monday, so the guys are out on the west side of the county working on everything over there, we have the Reclamation Project on the east side. Be a little tough to mow around some of that stuff right now. We've also laid some hot mix patches. We've still got one more side of the road to do on County Road 11 south of Rawville. There's a double run of culverts there that we had patched, and the road had sunk in a little bit, and we'll probably fix that Thursday. Weather's supposed to be conducive to do that. The bridge deck east of town on County Road 7, they set that last Monday, the 13th. They've still got to grout the cracks, and there'll be asphalt on each end that'll have to be milled out and make a better apron coming up to the bridge. So hopefully in a couple of weeks that'll be completed. That's the contractor said his portion should be done in the next couple of weeks. The asphalt, I'm not exactly sure when that'll get done. We're still raising the grade on 23-4, which would be 442nd Avenue, straight north of Tinkertown, 6 miles. We're trying to get that the same elevation as County Road 8, just to the south of it, because that was about 4 feet lower than what the elevation on County Road 8 was. But we're working on that when weather permits. Rain again is slowing us down a little bit. The Reclamation Project is moving forward. Everything that was de-paved, the 14.5 miles, there's been 2 inches of asphalt put over all of that. And now they're working their way south on County Road 3 down to 212. And they had, as of last Friday, because yesterday it rained, so they couldn't work, they were roughly 2.5 miles north of 212. So by the end of this week, they should have that done. And then they'll move down to County Road 20, south of the Tip Top. On the west side of 3, there's 2 miles that will get 4 inches of asphalt, because that was de-paved and they haven't moved down there yet. So they're working on that, and they've started working on some of the gravel roads with the soft spots, working them up, replacing some of the material that's in them, and then there'll still be gravel put over the top of that. But it's all taking time. The chip seal may not get done this year. That was from the county line on County Road 20 up to the Tip Top on 3. And with the company they had hired with the moisture and stuff, they're behind, and with the temperature, it's going to set them back. So that may not get done until next year. So just want you to be aware of that.
That isn't as urgent though as some of these other
No,
things.
that's not like they're paving and things like that.
So when they go south now and finish that 2 miles, will they do 4 right away, or are they just going to do 2 and then go back through the whole project and do the other 2?
I'll find out more tomorrow, because we have a meeting set up every other week. So we'll find out more tomorrow if they'll pave the whole thing. I would imagine they'll pave the whole thing as long as they're there.
That
so
they're
they don't
there
have to
and then work their way back
mobilize
up.
back.
Yeah.
Because then they'll go back up to Waverly and go west over to County Road 11, and then they'll go north on County Road 11. There's 2 miles up to Conag that they've got to pave.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I went with Rick last week and drove through that project. That's coming along real nice. So they'll have some nice roads when they get this done.
Yeah. So what do my neighbors are all asking, but it's all tore up in front of our place there. So what are we 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, I would say at least 2 weeks yet, so.
You have a 2-inch mat though, doesn't he, over his, or is his still ground?
His, they milled off 2 inches in front of their place. And they'll get 2 inches put back
Oh,
on.
okay.
Okay, the last one I have is, I know the farmers and people are working in the fields, and with all the moisture, they're dragging mud out on the roads and up on the new mat. Last week, I had the sheriff get a hold of me. Somebody drug up, they cut silage, drug a bunch of mud out on the road, and our guy had to come and take it off. But there was a miscommunication between me and the sheriff. I didn't know they'd gotten a hold of the guy, so I just got it done. Take care of it. And then another guy had hauled manure and drug rocks out. And I understand that you've got to get in the field and do all that, but you have to clean up your mess when you're done. Because the traveling public is not aware that it's there. You may know it's there, but we don't want to see anybody wreck their car or get injured, so that's.
Hit it on a motorcycle.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that
a mess.
happens.
I mean,
I ended up doing cookies on a road one time because there was mud on it and it was raining and hit it. And it was like
Yeah.
black ice. You
so
didn't
every
even
year
know.
we just have to send out that reminder to folks
Yeah.
to make sure and take care of it.
Yep.
I had a gentleman stop in front of my house the other day. He was really upset about the roads, riding a motorcycle, and I think the signs are there, there's adequate signage, but when you ride the motorcycle and they're looking around and all of a sudden you go from pavement to that round stuff, it's I don't know, is it a pretty tough ride on that stuff? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I
Does
mean.
Does it follow the?
Yeah, I mean,
He was all upset about how he had 20-year-old down tore up.
yeah.
Well, that's
So
part of
I-
the
You're talking about the
process of-
striations, Myron? Is that what you're talking
I
about?
suggested he ride in the ditch.
Don't do that. There's laws against that too. Just for the record.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and there's a lot of signs out there. And also they've had people moving their signs. So,
Yeah.
Taking them down.
yeah, taking them down and moving them and.
Yeah.
I would imagine that's a nighttime deal, but.
You got a big piece of machinery, you gotta move the sign so you can get through.
Okay.
Well, anyway, they're doing their best. They're coming along pretty
Yep.
good. I guess I think they're moving pretty much on schedule. So hopefully it will get wrapped up and back to normal.
Yes, so it's moving along. It's just the weather's hampered a lot.
Right now, yeah.
So it's a struggle.
Mhm.
So
That
I
is.
guess that's all I have.
Probably in addition to talking about the roads, but one thing that people, I would hope that they're paying attention out there, but we're right at the start of harvest. And it'll be hot and heavy here this coming week. And I know the combines are gonna be rolling and the semis are gonna be rolling, so there'll be a lot of traffic from the ag sector on the highway now. So a lot of combines out there, a lot of big tractors. So everybody just please be patient and be careful.
Yep, you have to drive accordingly, and the sun's not up quite as fast in the morning, and it's going down pretty fast in the evening, so things will be harder to see. So
Last night I came into the planning and zoning meeting and I turned into the sun and I absolutely could not see nothing. Brenda drove into the sun on the way
Yes.
in and it's,
It was
this
bad.
time 6, 7 o'clock at night, it's tough.
yes, it
Can't
is.
see, or
Yeah.
7 o'clock in the morning too.
That was pretty bright.
Beautiful.
All right, so then how about if we move on to item number 9, action to authorize the chair to sign the bridge improvement grant agreement. Rick, if you want to explain a little bit about that.
Okay, this is through the big program. This is one of the bridges that Mark Junker showed us on his display he had here a week or 2 ago. This is one that has wood abutments under it. It's on County Road 2. It'd be Cottonwood Avenue or Cottonwood Street, I do believe, because it's in between the mile lines there, but it is on our county road too. So
All right,
Make a motion.
motion by Van Duzen,
Second.
second by Gable. Any questions or comments for Rick?
So what this is, just to be, I think, as I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, so it's an engineering big grant to cover the engineering costs of the bridge you described, right? And
Correct.
42. So, and they pay 4,200, I'm sorry, 80% of 42,000. I'm understanding what I'm.
Correct.
So, okay.
42,000.
Yeah.
they pay us 80%, that's what they give out. So,
So we'll have about 8,400.
yeah.
Is our,
But this is also one of the bridges that got load restricted last year. So
It's good to move forward
Yeah,
and get this
yeah,
started,
we're moving on.
because it still takes a while to get all this done.
Yes, it takes a few years before it will come to be replaced. So
Yes,
we're starting the process. So
all right. So I have a motion.
There's not a time, this is not a time frame. There's no time frame set for this yet.
well, no, this has 3 years to get this
Right.
part of it done, and then it moves on. So, Yep.
It's a process.
yes, it is.
Long process.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. Now, item number 10, action to declare the highway equipment surplus to be sold at auction this Saturday, 9/25/2021. You have that list in your packet.
Okay, these are the dump trucks that we replaced. Excuse me. We got the new ones last year. Also, we have our old sign pickup, which is what year was that? 2001 Dodge that had 400,000 miles on it. The old backhoe. Yeah, I can't believe we're getting rid of it.
It's hardly broke in.
Our old backhoe, which is a 1987, we replaced that in 19, I do believe. And there's a 1-ton crew cab Chevy pickup 2-wheel drive that we're also replacing. That has been replaced. We're just eliminating it. And then another pickup, 2008. So
Move to approve.
second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Any other questions, comments?
Which one of the dump trucks was the one we put the new engine in?
that would be truck 36, number 3 on the list.
So and just to clarify, we're talking about these 7 items that you can see on the screen right now, right? We're not
Correct.
talking about the shop lights and the.
Yeah.
Yeah, those items don't need to be
Yeah.
declared surplus.
I just had them on my
Right.
list. when I
Your
was
auction
making
list,
it
yeah.
out, so.
And if people want to know the whole auction list, it's on the county website now, so.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yeah, there's a link on front. It has a few of the city items as well, so.
Yes, and then the sale is this coming Saturday at the Ag Building.
That should go, yeah.
All right. Anything else? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. All
Thank you.
right, I think we should be good. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
All right, Luke. He's been waiting patiently.
Actually, we've got resolutions.
Oh, you want to do?
Well, I mean, Sean is here for.
Okay,
those.
all right, let's do Shauna. Sorry, Luke.
Sorry,
Yeah, hopefully-
I don't want any more class.
Yeah, I was thinking that's okay. She's just seen the
Oh,
list.
Whose phone is it?
Oh, he-
Okay, sorry.
He's
Talk
recording.
loud into
He's
that.
recording.
Yes.
Sorry, haven't been here in a while.
All right, Shauna.
Okay, so the Department of Revenue went through and updated and changed basically our whole chapter on our codified laws, chapter 10.6. And so we had to go through and redo any of the paperwork in our offices and our resolutions, of course, here, and just actually change the numbers of the codified laws to the new ones. So basically, I just did these word for word on the other ones. Just to make sure they stay kosher and what they were, just went through and changed the numbers. of the
Move
codified
to
law.
approve.
We need to
One by
adopt
one.
each one
One
individually.
by one.
Each one individually, okay?
So
Wait a
we'll
minute,
start,
wait a minute. Just a second, let me look at these. Maybe we don't. Depends on how they're worded. If they're worded all the same, then we don't need to take individual
That's
action.
their whole thing, aren't they?
Okay,
So no, they'll still move to approve. then.
all of them. Yep, we can do
Second.
all of them in one.
All of the resolution.
Okay,
all right, motion by Johnson, second by Van Duzen. On the riparian buffers, did they increase that amount of the share for the farmers?
I'm not sure.
We had some conversation about that with
We
the
only have
GF.
one person that applies for them now, so.
That's what they were going to try and
yes,
make them
they were
more,
going- Yeah, to make it better.
yes. And I think they were going to try to connect up with NRCS, some of those programs as well. So that's why I was curious if you noticed if that had increased.
So,
Okay.
yeah, Madam Chair, sorry.
Yes.
So the things that changed in these and what we're talking about now just are references to, are they
So
the,
the actual
code-
codified laws.
so the code
Yep.
references, okay. So it's
So nothing in the resolution has changed. It's just
correcting the-
referencing the correct
numbers.
codified laws since those are
Okay.
changed. Renumbered, not changed.
Yeah, okay.
And there's 4 of them that we're talking about. So with getting farmers repairing buffer strips. Assessed
Assessed
value of certain
value.
residential properties and the discretionary formula.
Yep.
Which is the 5-year.
Yep, that's. the
Tax
30 year.
holiday,
And
yeah.
then the residential one is the developers on the developing lots in town. Get a break on those lots for 5 years as well.
All right. Any other questions or comments? We ready to vote? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Thanks, Shauna.
Thanks, John.
All right, item number 12, action to approve amendment number 1 to the 2020 local emergency management performance grant. Cindy, were you going to take that?
yeah, this is, the emergency management office had, checked on the cost of improving or updating some computers in their EOC. And from the time they checked on the cost to the time their grant was approved, the computer prices went up slightly. So this is an amendment to the original grant to cover the overage from the increase in that cost.
All right, I look for a
Make
motion.
it so moved.
Motion by Gable,
Second.
second by Waterman. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. All right, we'll skip down to item number 15. We'll come back to auditors account with treasurer, so Luke can be on his way.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right,
I've actually got 3 plats for you today. One's gonna have to be postponed and I'll get to that in just a moment here. But the first plat I've got for you, and I've got it on the screen, or it looks like Commissioner Gable has it on the screen for you, is a plat of Jack Engel's addition located in the north half of the southwest quarter, section 19 in Pelican Township. This is about 1.5 miles as the crow flies northeast of Grover is where this is located at. Last night, the Board of Adjustment approved an existing farmstead exemption because this is the site of a farmstead on the, that slide shows you about where it's at. And then the next one would show you the general configuration over the farm. You can see it's just over the old farm site. I've got a little bit more square on this. It actually goes at a couple of a little more angles to follow some of the tree lines and that sort of thing. But Planning Commission recommended approval after the Board of Adjustment granted the farmstead exemption.
Move to approve.
Second.
motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. All right.
All right, the next plat is the plat of Fisher Addition located in the southwest quarter of section 12 in Kransberg South Township. That's Township 116 North Range 51 West. This plat is kind of same story. This one is straight south of Kransberg, straight south of the center of Kransberg is where that's at. And the map that I have on there with the aerial is a little bit off base because it's not quite as wide as I show it on there, but they transferred a farmstead exemption down to this area. The Planning Commission approved it, approved the plat after the Board of Adjustment approved the farmstead exemption last night. So
Move
plan
to
commission
approve.
recommend approval.
Second.
Okay, motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, that motion carries. All right, the O'Toole.
Sure, the O'Toole plat is the O'Toole addition located in the southwest quarter, section 32, township 119 north, range 52 west in the former Siston-Wapton Indian Reservation, Fuller Township. This is almost literally in Commissioner Waterman's backyard. It's very close. 53 acre piece. I guess, yeah, generally described as straight north on County Road 17. I'm gonna go with 6 miles, probably straight east to Still Lake is where this is at.
Yeah, it'd be pretty, no, about 4 miles.
4 miles, okay. Bottom line is straight east of Still Lake. This is a 53 acre piece. It would not require platting except for the fact that I don't know how you legally describe that without platting it because it's such an odd shaped piece due to the pasture and the water. And probably the only thing above and beyond what you would normally expect to hear from me on a 53 acre piece is there's some floodplain issue here.
That was what I was gonna ask,
Yeah.
and being well familiar with the piece
Uh-huh.
and some high water.
Yep.
Is not that whole thing in the.
There's
floodplain?
a small area, if I remember right, it's in the southwest portion of that lot, including the house itself that does stay out of the provisional floodplain that that FEMA is telling us we'll probably be approving in the future. Primarily, it's mostly under the floodplain.
But this spring, we had some,
Yeah.
early this spring.
Yeah, and this works out really well. Now, the site itself is the site that would qualify for that farmstead exemption. I'm very happy that they came forth with a 53 acre plat in this case, because while there probably is a way and a place to stick a small lot and have 2 houses out there, it's gonna be pretty tough with all that floodplain unless you do a lot of fill. So as of now, we're talking a 53 acre lot. And so we're only talking about what might be beyond that. So good news, plan commission recommended approval last night.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by
So
Gable.
part of that 53 acres is in the floodplain,
Much of it is correct.
much of it. is.
Yeah. Well, let me take that back, okay? It is not in the regulatory floodplain. And the reason it's not in the regulatory floodplain is because it's in the former reservation and FEMA opted not to put that into the floodplain back when we adopted it in 2009. So we have to go with best information whenever we're doing so. So when someone comes in for a building permit, what I have to tell them as zoning officer is, you're not in the floodplain, but we've got this pretty good map here that tells you you're in the floodplain. So I have to tell them I can't force them to build above a certain level, but I can tell them they're apt to be, they're apt to have flood water get there. And the next time a flood map does get approved, there's a good chance they will be in the floodplain. Next sale would mean flood insurance. At this time, they probably wouldn't need it. And so if you're confused, you should be, because that's a very confusing lot to tell.
No, it is, that little corner in that other triangle where the other guy built is also, it's very confusing.
Yeah, like you cross that arbitrary line there of the former reservation line, and that was mapped. So the floodplain just. cuts
Yeah, I
off
was
right there.
surprised at how close that reservation line runs to my place.
Yeah, exactly. So.
So we have a
I'll
motion, motion by
Gable's
Gable, second by Van Duzen. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries.
So on the next plat, I'm just gonna ask that, to handle this Robert's Rules way, probably the right way to do it would be to have a motion and then to postpone it. But I would like to give you just a brief explanation as to why it's being postponed before you do that. And I'll have to probably re-explain it in more detail a little bit. But
When should it be postponed to next week?
just for now, let's just do it till next week.
I'll
We
move
don't
that.
have.
We don't have to do anything. We can just put it on next week
Yeah,
because we don't
can
have a
carry it over.
motion.
I mean,
Can you just do it that way?
it's
You
You can
cleaner.
explain it still.
So
but
I'll
yeah.
tell you this, yeah, if,
Yeah, I'll make a note that the Jade Conkey plat was not acted upon.
yeah, we'll put it on for
I'll just
next
leave it
week
on.
at this time. What's gone on, this is right on the fringe of town. This is in the area that's called extraterritorial plat jurisdiction for the city of Watertown. The plat itself actually goes right over the top of what would be planned as a future road for the city of Watertown, and we're kind of going through trying to figure out where that road would go, as well as how that gets reserved for future use without taking away the ability for these property owners to be able to build on that. That goes right down the middle of it. They don't have enough land anymore. However, we all know that that road's not gonna go in until the property is annexed. So trying to figure out, one, where that should go, two, the mechanism by which that should be done. And I gotta commend city staff on jumping on top of this and doing the best they can as quickly as they can to try to accommodate this. However, there's only so much they can move. This is a line that's been on the map for over 30 years. Takes a little while to work on that policy. So hopefully they can have something together in the coming week. But the good news is Planning Commission did recommend approval last night, generally to be able to say, hey, it's a 10-acre piece that's in a property that's zoned commercial or industrial in this legal description. As long as they reserve an area for that road, as the land use plan says, they're okay with it. So we got that 1 month meeting out of the way, and hopefully they can get it to us on a Wednesday and I can get it on the agenda and we can go. Yeah. So that's the hope. So with that, we'll plan on, for now,
Next week.
I'm
So
hoping I can
it's
see you
pending
next week.
Further, is there a reason for not acting on it?
There's further information required.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. Okay.
And we had a busy meeting last night, as you can tell. We had 4 plats, one of which we had to punt for a little bit. Also had a discussion item in which, just for what it's worth, the planning commission took no action and basically failed to initiate, which means that they had no interest in amending the joint jurisdiction zoning ordinance to allow religious conference facilities in the joint jurisdiction area. So at that point, it's known that the planning commission doesn't support listing that as something, meaning that they'd remain prohibited in that joint jurisdiction area as they originally were. So that is the full report on what happened in the planning commission. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's go back up to item number 13 then. Action to approve the auditor's account with treasurer and note monthly register of deeds fees.
The monthly register of deeds fees are $54,752.65. And then you have the report of the cash and cash items on hand as of the last business day in August. Shows you, second page shows you where our cash fund balances are also.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Gable.
Second.
Second by Van Duzen. Any questions, comments for Cindy? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. All right, item number 16, discussion possible action to pass a resolution to enact a ban on open burning if necessary. I think we all know the answer to that. So we will move on then to item number 17, action to approve claims for payment. And you have some of those in the packet.
We'll need 2 motions because we have our regular claims and we have our 911 claim.
Okay, because,
I will need to excuse myself.
okay,
So you have the claims list in front of you. Is there any questions on any?
So we're talking about the large.
the claim,
Yeah.
yep, the
Yeah.
regular
So I'll
claims.
make a motion to approve these claims less than 911 expenses.
Motion by Gable,
I'll second it.
second by Johnson. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, that motion carries.
And
Now
then the
we'll move
911 claim to the city of Watertown for surcharge collections is $22,583.71.
I'll make a motion to approve that as well.
motion by Gable.
I'll second it.
Second by Johnson. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. All right, item number 18, action to approve automatic budget supplements. We have the road restoration funds.
So we have, in this month's bills, we paid $859,534.11 to Dunick Incorporated or Dunick. And we are allowed to put that back into the highway budget as it was an unanticipated expenditure. And we did receive funds from the wind energy to offset the costs of repairing these roads.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Gable,
I'll second that.
second by Johnson. Any comments or questions?
So I think this brings us to just over, a little over $1 million that we have paid Dunick that we have been reimbursed of the highway budget.
All right. Anything else? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. All right, item number 19, personnel changes. I don't know if you have any, there wasn't any in the packet.
I did have one travel request. That's the next item. Came in yesterday. I'm not sure if you're aware that they canceled the assessor's schooling for this year. And they are offering some courses to people who need to take a course, and our director of equalization does need to take the proctored exam for certification. Troy, I believe she talked to you. She
Yes.
would, it's a one-day trip to Sioux Falls to take this class that she needs to keep up her certification. which she
Before
would have
October
done-
1st.
She would have done during the schooling that was scheduled for this week.
Makes sense.
So we just need to approve
I'll make
Sean's
a motion.
request.
I'll make a motion to do that. To approve her.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Gable, second by Van Duzen. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, that motion carries. All right, public notices, possible quorum of commissioners. Anyone have anything? First district picnic on Thursday, there probably could be a quorum of us at that,
That's all that.
first district
New
office.
building.
It's at their office this year. All right, that's all I have. Anyone else have anything? How about old business? How about new business? Anything for the open? Do we have a need for executive session?
I think there is a need for a brief one. We got an email from Natalie, just very briefly.
Not sure.
Yeah,
that
I
top-
think-
I'm not sure that topic,
It's up, it wouldn't be a personnel thing.
No,
no.
Okay. all
we
right.
won't.
Because
We'll
you
wait.
guys took action in a formal meeting to approve.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, Natalie called me, and so I think we're fine. Next week, if she thinks that we need to, we will, but
Okay.
otherwise, I think we're
Sounds
good.
I'll move to adjourn.
All right, motion by Johnson.
Second.
Second by Gable. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Opposed, that motion carries. Thanks, everyone. You didn't come back for something, did you?
No, I myself, Lee, can you send me that?
The budget one? Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Back to the second slide.
No, I did not have that graph.
No, that was just one I had. That was one I did. so.
Lee did. We aren't sure if it's official or not.
It's good. It's got. it's not-
Do you want a picture?
Those aren't the-
Do you want a picture of it?
those aren't the final
Can you
number.
put it back?
Yeah, you can do a
Can
screen
you
share.
email it?
You can do it. You can just pull up. Yeah. Or you can pull it off the YouTube video as a still. I can show it to you.
Yeah.